Okay, it's rolling. Cool. All right, here we go. Greetings, Leo. Hi. That's you guys over here. This is Tarot Lumination. This is your general report for the February 2018 cycle. Okay. So cards were already well shuffled in advance, but we're going to keep going. Okay, to the very last second till we actually read, cut and read, and so that you're a witness. Okay. I like to have a really clear deck, super clear, because otherwise a lot of repetitions can occur. You have to be extremely careful. So Leo, what's going on? Let's see. You've got this big Saturn in Capricorn journey happening over in your sixth house of health habits, your service to this world. Like, what are you going to do with yourself, Leo, in terms of, you know, maybe cleaning things up, cleaning up unhealthy habits and creating new healthier habits. There's going to be a lot of pressure over the next 3 years to do something like that and figure out how to apply oneself most effectively in service to the world without depleting yourself or diminishing yourself on the way. Also, you've got Jupiter in Scorpio. Okay, that's Jupiter in Scorpio is very powerful dynamic. It's very, very healing. It's very, let's say, benefic. The thing is, it's happening in your fourth house, which is, let's say, a hard angle. So it's in the foundations. So it could be that there's a lot of deep, like transformational stuff that's going on in your home setting, in your home and family, in your home environment, the place where you sleep, the place where you feel safe and secure, the foundations of your life from which everything else grows. Okay. So there might be a lot of healing that needs to occur there, and whatever needs healing is very likely to be revealed with Jupiter in Scorpio. Secrets being revealed, so to speak, and it might not be so comfortable simply because of the hard square relative to your sun. So also we've got the eclipses. Leo, this is your kind of opposition time of year for you, heading into the Aquarius cycle. That's the full opposition. Aquarius and Leo are fully opposed. And we've got the eclipses here hanging as well. So, you got the Leo North Node theme rattling around right on your nose, saying, come on, Leo, be the star that you are, be the star that you are. Even more than you've known before, but it can also be seriously like rattling the cage when it comes to how does that work in terms of your most profound relationships, like, because you might have been operating in relationship dynamics where there was a lot of stuff taken for granted, so to speak, in how everything is just kind of one big happy families, community kind of Aquarian utopian ideal, to the absolution of ego. And now all of a sudden Leo is being woken up and saying, hey, Leo, don't forget yourself here. All right, so I think we're pretty much done with the shuffles and the cuts. Let's just go for it, okay? I know a lot of people like me to just dive right into the spread and do no talk at the beginning at all of it. With this particular cluster of planets and transits and things, I think it's important to get some notes on the page first. Okay, here we go. Cards are clean and clear and well shuffled, as you can witness. I'm going to do a big fat cut here to break things up for you. And let's have a look. The story will tell itself in a moment. Understand that we are blessed here in this what amounts to sacred space, and our angels are all present. This is heart energy here. This is the very, very core of you, the very, very core of you, Leo, and you're all about the heart. You're the big heart. You're the big pulsing heart of the of the whole zodiac. So you might not be aware of it in that context, though. You might just be, operating kind of on autopilot, like so many of us do, and not realizing your own awesomeness. But the heart is there. It needs what it needs. It wants what it wants. and it's doing everything it can to do that. And it's a question of whether you, Leo, the person, is actually nurturing that heart properly. Here's what you're bringing in with you. This is legacy. I think of it as baggage. Think of it as whatever's in your suitcase, your backpack. If you're walking into the room here with Terra Lumination, what you got in your pockets, you know? What's weighing you down? What makes you feel happy? What are you bringing into the room here? This is the ever-present now. This is on the understanding that, oh my gosh, everything happens in the now. Oops. So it's nothing to do with the past, nothing to do with the future. We live in this construct. It's the very Saturnine sensation of having a past and having a future. And Saturn is the Lord of time, and we have to deal with that. And that's floating around in your health sector, healthy habits and practices, and clearing and purifying and refining of life. So at present, it might feel uncomfortable there, and there could be a strong tendency to want to lean on the past in order to avoid the present, and then project the future based on the past. So it's expectations and conditions rather than being fully present. So it's understandable if you would find the present uncomfortable. Over here would be the energy of your decisions, because it's in the moment where we own our power most of all, by staying pure and clear and present, from where we can make neutral decisions. No matter what's going on, no matter the drama, the fear, the amazing opportunities, whatever, we need clarity and presence to make our decisions, okay? And so how do we make those decisions most effectively that works for you, Leo, so that you can nurture yourself, you can heal yourself, you can go through this 3-year journey of learning about healing and dealing with whatever's not working in your life. There's a lot of emphasis here in this particular reading with the 7th house eclipses going on, the Leo North Node being amplified, Jupiter in Scorpio in your 4th house, Saturn in Capricorn in your 6th house. That's a lot of pressure on you, Leo, okay? Let's just get it out there. It's okay for you to feel as though you might be under a lot of pressure, and it can leave you stressed out. So how are you going to honor yourself properly, make healthy, loving decisions in the moment, despite all those stressors, despite the pressures bearing down? In other words, how do you love yourself anyway? Okay, that would be here. And over here would be the energy of consequence. Let's say this is what you end up bringing to yourself every beat. And remember, this is just one little reading for one low so-called time period that we call February 2018. And that would be consequential energy. If you are, let's say, abandoning your responsibilities to yourself and ignoring all these pressures that are piling up here, and you are having a rough time, and you've decided, oh, it's just fate and someone else's problem, and it's just life coming at you, and then now you have no choice except to react. That's putting you in the vortex of fate, where it's like you're not participating, you're not staying present, you're not making these decisions, you're running on autopilot and blaming anything that goes wrong on circumstances or other people. Okay, over here is the energy of what if. So what if you are messing up on your decisions? What would that look like? On the other hand, what if you are fully appraised and you're taking responsibilities for all of this stuff, and you're making healthy decisions anyway, despite the pressures? It might be that the pressures are essentially squeezing you to make these decisions, to learn how to love yourself more. Consequently, well, not consequently, but more to do with momentum and prospects. How does this feed into the next beat of the heart? I like to think of this as a heart journey, okay, where each beat of the heart goes like this, right from here at the very, very core, okay? That's the Terra Lumination perspective, okay? So let's just say there's a story being told here, but what's the backdrop? What's the scenery like? Over here, this is circumstantial energy, call it the weather. And it's beautiful weather. There you go. It's almost like it's idiot proof. You can't go wrong. Now here's the challenge. I don't want to be a spoiler here, but when I think of this as weather, okay, let's just think of this as beautiful weather. Now, sometimes I talk about how you want to make the best of the weather. So let's say this is beautiful weather, make the best of it in challenging conditions. However, I learned over doing thousands of readings that not everybody acknowledges this energy. They become victims of the weather. In other words, if it's really sucky weather, they end up having a sucky time. If it's really glorious weather, they go around having an awesome time, but it's kind of all on autopilot. In other words, they're literally just floating around, uh, and all of their experiences are conditional on the weather. Whereas, like if you're like a sensible farmer, for example, then you have to always make the best of the weather. If it's really bad, if it's too hot, if it's too cold, if it's rainy, if it's frozen, if it's windy, if it's whatever it is, you have to make the best of it. Okay. Now, with beautiful weather, does that mean you're going to be just the most perfectly bright and sunny Leo that's humanly possible? This is absolutely supportive for you to be the most awesome Leo ever. Now, I voiced earlier how the conditions and circumstances are actually quite challenging for Leos right now. So how is this going to play out? Let's have a look, okay? Just because it's amazing weather does not necessarily mean you are obliged to feel happy. Just because if this was a really sucky card doesn't mean you have to be depressed. Make the most of this, Leo. It's out there. It's possible, okay? So it might be an awesome thing to have very, very supportive weather in very challenging conditions inside the heart, inside the person, inside the life of Leo. All right? Remember, this is circumstantial energy. That's not necessarily you. So what's going on at the heart core? Okay. So to me, it feels like the issue of self-worth here. My feeling here, the heart is questioning itself, doubting whether you, Leo, the person, is fully appreciative of how awesome you are, and whether you are truly nurturing your heart the way your heart needs and deserves to be nurtured. Okay? Leo, you're a very regal sign. It's like you are born to shine. You are born to be out there. You are born to display and be displayed, to enjoy and to be enjoyed. And if that's not what's happening, there's a problem. And that problem would be yours. It would be nothing to do with the weather or the circumstances. So at the heart is, my feeling here is that it's all about wanting to do the best it can with what it has, like at the very core. You deeply wanting to shine and be the most ultimate Leo possible, but it's figuring out, how am I supposed to do that? What am I supposed to do with all these talents and gifts? You have so much to offer, Leo. There's so much, let's say, abundance here, tangible, worldly, very high value assets, talents, resources, gifts. Okay, so how's that going to play out in such potentially challenging circumstances, even with this amazing supportive weather? What are you bringing in with you? Okay, well, it's starting to show. It might feel for you like, if we're honest here, like, let's just pretend Terra Lumination has an office and you can just knock on the door and say, hey, Terra TL, are you in right now? Can we hang out? And I say, oh, yeah, we got some time. Sure. So we hang out and you come in like this. Okay? Now, this is starting to make sense to me. I know it sounds creepy for me to say that, but that is finally starting to make sense. It's like your ordinary classic Leo self would be very loath to be anything less than Leo. And yet, conditions, I think, are challenging enough to, if we're honest, this is what it's like. It's just that you might, typically a Leo would not like to admit or openly declare that they are up to their neck in it, and they've painted themselves in a corner and they don't know what to do and don't know where to go, because there are so many challenging circumstances and events and other stakeholders all around you. Leo, you might be surrounded by people who have their own goals and ambitions and desires and talents and gifts that are looking for expression, and they all have a right to that. And then you're living in that environment where you have a right to your expressions and your gifts and your abundance as well. But how is that working out for you? It's kind of awkward. It's like being boxed in in a situation with relationships, homes, circumstances, people, jobs, attitudes, perceptions. Particularly, I would feel other people's dynamics, other people's energies surrounding you. surrounding you and affecting you in a way that it's almost like claustrophobic, like being painted into a corner, but you ended up here like, you know, unwittingly. It's like, who knew that even in your best efforts that you might be almost feeling like, you know, I don't know if I can take this much anymore. It's that kind of energy, and you're painted in a corner like, how do I actually get out of this situation? Because I really, really do want to be like the true Leo that I am, except that in circumstances right now, everything looks peachy, everything looks really, really rosy, and that's fantastic for everybody around. But for me personally, Leo, I'm having a really hard time with this stuff. Thank you very much, Tio. It's that kind of vibe. That's what I'm feeling here, making it very personal for you, Leo. All right. This is not a personal reading, by the way. This is probably going to be watched by hundreds or even maybe thousands of people. So this is not a private reading. Okay. I'm just trying to illustrate the story. Okay. So what about the now? Okay. A reckoning is happening. So this is makes me feel as though, what's it called? The insurmountable object meets the immovable force. That type of energy, where there's a kind of a sense of gridlock. It's a sense of really, really tough gridlock for you, Leo, where you're like, it's almost like not knowing what to do, how to do it, where to go, where to turn. And like my feeling here is the need for advice, the need for counsel, the need for a really serious, really truthful, like a reckoning, like a truth telling of what's actually going on here. It's like right now, it's almost like Leo is saying, I don't know why I'm feeling this in such a personal way, Leo, but it's almost like, yeah, you just walked into the offices of Terra Lumination. It's just like, man, I can't handle this stuff anymore. I don't want to tell anybody because, you know, a lot of people count on me. I love my people. They love me. But frankly, I feel painted in, boxed in, like, how can I get my own, you know, expressions going here? And then this could be like Terra Lumination, like, I see what you're talking about, Leo. Well, this is a very serious situation. We just did all that chitter chatter earlier about the astrology stuff. So let's just say in the moment, in the present, in the now, um, it's a mutual thing. You are seeking advice, seeking counsel from a neutral, loving, caring, let's say, authority figure who has your best interests at stake, Leo. And we're just calling it out how it is. It's almost like literally getting professional counseling. That's what's happening in the now. It's like you are seeking this and you are receiving this. That's what I feel is happening here. So it's like you're in a good spot, Leo. It's like you came to the right channel at the right time, at the right place for the right reasons. Because this is probably awkward stuff for you, Leo, to handle this right now. It's like what's happening in some ways. It's like below you, but we still got to deal with it. Okay, we all got to deal with our own doo-doo. So you're taking a very responsible approach to this. Let's have a look. Making the decisions. Okay. Whew. It's almost like, yeah, you do need a break, but my feeling here is that you can't actually take a break because you have to endure. You're going to have to endure this and live through these cycles, these phases that we talked about. And I like to use the planets to illustrate things like the Jupiter and Scorpio thing in the fourth house of foundations, secrets being revealed that may not be very comfortable, things like that, and the healing that goes with it. Okay, next thing, Saturn in Capricorn cruising through your sixth house for the next 3 years. Yeah, it might be really uncomfortable, but it's very much about getting your act together regarding healing. Next thing, the Leo Aquarius eclipses and the Leo North Node, it's all happening for your ultimate benefit. The healing power of, like, say, the planets is actually all working for you, even though it might be tough right now. And you certainly wouldn't want to show that to others onto the surface. So you're doing this like discreet thing of hanging out with TL and getting a reading. But the decisions are all about healing. Okay, it's all about removing yourself from the battlefronts of trying to figure out how to solve these problems as though they can be solved simply by Leo, like, you know, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to cut this away, chop that out, and uh, uh, push our way through there and get refills and restocks over here, whatever it is, it's not going to work. My feeling is that it's all about the willingness to disengage from uh, having to always be, let's say, good and right and worthy and the most magnanimous Leo all the time, and admitting that you need a break. You, Leo, need a break. It's perfectly normal, healthy, and sane for someone to admit that they need a break. They need healing. So I feel that a lot of your decisions right now, just like you illustrated, are very much to do with healing, the healing of Leo. Okay? Leo does not like to admit that it could possibly go down or need healing. Leos are very regal. You need to be seen as regal, and that is indisputable, irrefutable. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, oh my gosh, the king is sick, ailing. That's not cool. It freaks people out when the king is like not up to par, you know. So it scares other people. So how are we going to make very healing decisions for you, Leo, without you losing your dignity, losing self-respect, and in fact turning things around so that you increase the love that you channel towards yourself and heal yourself so that it's good for the heart, which is good for everybody. So you can become the better Leo, no matter what, no matter how we do that. Okay, it could be to do with a lot of attitude adjustments. Okay, that's what I'm feeling here with the Six of Swords. It's just like disengaging from, let's say, the trivial battles and things that make you feel as if you have to dominate, you have to prevail in order to maintain dignity and self-respect, and realizing that, you know, it doesn't always have to work that way. It's okay to live and let everybody else mess up and live out their problems, because you got stuff to take care of for yourself now, okay? But you might not be programmed to do that. You might feel very honorable, and it's your job and your duty to go out there and be regal and take care of your tribe, your family, your kingdom, your world. But you're in a corner now. So how are you going to do that? Because you're actually the one who needs help now. Okay, so that is, you see, with all these swords here, it's kind of all in the mind. It's all the whole idea of like, wait a minute, TL, are you telling me that I need a break? I need to actually kind of like put myself into a healthcare program? Is that what you're talking about here? And give up all the drama or whatever it is, feeling having to be out there, be the king. And TL is saying, yeah, that's actually kind of what we're talking about here, Leo. It's all about an extended healing program. Are you ready? Should we go? And that's probably hard for you to do, okay, Leo? But that's what we need to, this is how we do it. We actually do it in a mental process by saying, first of all, we have to admit that we need healing and reconfiguration and some serious attitude adjustments to see how you view your world, the foundations of your world, your primary one-on-one relationships, and your health, and primarily your health in that whole environment, okay? So in other words, it's almost like the energy of having an absolutely beautiful sunny day, while you might end up having to be in like what would like in a healing program, and being stuck in like, you know, how do you know what it's like being stuck in a hospital bed in the middle of a beautiful day? You want to be out there and doing stuff. So that's the kind of vibe I'm feeling here for you, Leo. It's just like, dang. So TL, you're telling me I need to go on a healing program. TL said, yeah, I know it sucks because it's really gorgeous weather out there. And the last thing you want is to have to go to like physio 5 days a week and then go to yoga and then stop all your habits of this and this and this, of self-defeating that and self-medicating that. And let's go on a healing journey here. So Leo goes like, oh my God. This is the last thing I wanted to hear. I was hoping you'd tell me how to be awesome so I can leave the office today and everything will be fine. And TL says, I'm sorry, Leo. It's not working that way. Anyway, consequently, with the High Priestess here, my feeling is that, let's just say, you kind of understand what we're talking about. Gosh, this reading is going long, Leo. I'm sorry it's taking so long. I got carried away with all the chat in the beginning, and I think it's because it was so overwhelming when I saw the patterns. Understanding it's okay to be a mystery to yourself, okay? Like, it's okay to say, I have no idea what's going on here. I don't really understand what TL's talking about or these reading things are about, but if I'm honest, yeah, I actually do need a break. And then you can, let's say, what I would call surrender to the mystery and just, okay, if that's what you're saying. And okay, there's no shame in that. It might just be admitting that there's a lot that you don't know yet that needs to be learned. And the only way it can be learned is by living through these cycles with a new attitude compared to what you were doing to live your life before this cycle. Okay, so what happens if you make the good decisions? Okay, you realize how innocent you were and how little you knew. What happens if you make these good decisions, loving decisions? You realize how innocent you were, how little you knew about love, and now there's so much more to be gained. It's okay to be innocent. We're all innocent to some degree, and we learn from there. Okay, it's not a problem. So don't be freaked out by this reading. See it as a good thing for you, where you can basically learn a lot more about love and what it is, especially about loving yourself. Pondering like, well, what is this self-love thing from TL? What's it's just going on about it the whole time? It's actually kind of cool. Wow, that's kind of cool. Okay, so let's do this healing thing, okay? And so what about the prospects? You see? That creates abundance, that creates stability and anchorage again, and brings you into dominion of the self much more than before. It's just the journey to go from here to here involves huge attitude adjustments. Okay, that's how I'm seeing it. Okay, Leo, I hope that kind of makes sense. And I've kind of gone over time here, so I'm going to stop talking now, and you can reinterpret this. You can stop, start, and watch however you like. But I feel that the ultimate story here is about coming back into your own, recalibrating yourself completely with some huge attitude shifts that are going to feel like they might be imposed upon you if you don't willingly go along with the flow. In other words, if you try to resist the flow, you end up with more of this. If you make conscious, deliberate attitude adjustments to go with the flow, allow the healing processes to occur step by step, attitude adjustment by attitude adjustment, even if you don't understand what we're actually trying to do here or anyway and anyhow, it doesn't matter. The whole point is to get the healing done and reintegrate yourself to like a much higher standard, so to speak. Okay, cleansing, purifying, refining. The process of self-love, which is really all about self-healing, and that's the best thing you can do for the whole planet, not just you. Okay, thank you, Leo. Bye bye. All the best. Hold on. I went so long here. Sorry. Let me just put that there. So it's like it's not the end of the world. Okay. All right. See you. Bye.